How are you doing?
Not too bad.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So I'll tell you what, folks. I just want to show you something that a lot of the options courses we've got redone. So you can click into the option trading courses here, which is most of what you want. So I just create a quick link on the menu there from our website, and it's going to bring you into this here. So here's your option trading courses and everything else, right? But there's a couple of cool features in it. So all the courses are listed here, and they're all getting updated. So the ones I've updated, I'll just go through them. It's basically the first 5 courses. I'm in the process of updating the cover call course, so that's not complete just yet, okay? But everything down to the short put course and then part of the cover call course is redone. But a little feature you mightn't be aware of, let's say, for example, I put out a trade saying I'm going to close down my short put option, and you're going, oh, how do I actually do that? If you come into the little bottom right hand corner here and click on search for help, you could just type in there close short put, for example, right? And it's going to bring up every article I've written or every video. So how to close a short put option in IBK or TWS, for example. What I will say to you as well, in the actual course itself, I've done new examples with the client portal. So if you're looking for, let's say you're in a short put and you're going, I'd like to actually get a review of how you close trades down. If you actually scroll down and you go, how do I manage the trade? You'll see it down here. I'm going to update this little menu here later on. But you'll see executing the trade, step-by-step trade placement is here. And trade management, so it's all done there for you. So you could click in here and I go through how you use the client portal, for example. Okay, so just wanted you to know that they're all being redone with more recent examples, so they're more up to date, you know. Okay, so I just wanted to share that with you. And if you wanted to chat with us, you can click in here, ask a question if you want, or you can decide to just chat directly with us from here. So you can click in messages down here and type and start chatting away with us if you want, okay? There's all other little bits and pieces there. So just something you might be aware of, okay? So just back to the markets itself. So last night we closed out of our short put, so we made a nice profit on that trade. And we did it at a good time, actually, because the market was pretty much up here when we did it. And it pulled back a little bit at the end, towards the end of the trading. So I actually changed that trading time frame to 10-minute trades. It's going to show you what happened coming into the close yesterday. There was a bit of a sell-off coming into the close. So obviously investors still aren't 100% confident just yet. We'll see what happens. And the futures are pointing to kind of a fairly muted open at this minute in time, still an hour and a half to go. So it would not surprise me, folks, if this started to go move lower again. And if that happens, I'm getting ready, as I said in my previous videos this week, to kind of sell the 630 put. Now, I will be happy to go back to 640 now that I've got rid of my 640 short puts for November, if that makes sense. Okay, so when I originally put out the video, I was saying I'd like a bit more degree of safety. The reason for that was we already had an existing short put out there. But I might use the 640 strike or the 630. I'm just going to wait and see and be patient on that one. Is there any questions on SPY or what the strategy is for SPY? Okay, moving on. Crude oil next. So we were right to hold off in crude oil. So you see yesterday, that's yesterday's trading there. So we're looking at the future. So obviously the trading for the futures has happened already for today. And you can see that low yesterday took out all of the previous lows for the last, let's say, week and a half's trading. So that's not good. But now there's a bit of a recovery today. But what I'm saying is we were right to hold off selling the put option premium for now. Again, the hope is here that we kind of start revisiting down here again, and then we can get a nice juicy premium for selling all the way down here at maybe below $52 on the strike. Okay, so that's what we're waiting on there with crude oil. So not ready to place a trade yet, but we're getting close. Like if I got a good 2% sell off today, for example, or 3, I'd probably go and say, yeah, it's actually time maybe to start building the position. But just it's just the way this is starting to happen. These lower lows are continuing. We broke out of this consolidation pattern slightly, not majorly, but just slightly.
Stephen, so I've a short put on USO for November 21st.
Yeah.
Would you close that down?
How far out of the money is it, Brendan? What strike?
64.
I wouldn't close that. I'd let that run. Because if you look at that, this is USO, like that's the recent low in oil, right? So I'd have to take that out and get down to here. So I'm not saying it's not possible, but it's unlikely. I'd say if you actually tapped into your position, Brendan, it's probably going to tell you you're well over 90% probability of profit. So when you go into your client portal, click on the position and just scroll down to the left-hand side. It'll tell you what your current probability is. So look, it depends what premium's left in it. If there's very little premium, you might go, well, what's the point in holding it? But I know that's something you didn't mind taking at 64 anyway, getting assigned. So for that reason, I'd probably just leave it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's a 94% probability.
Yeah. So yeah, there's no need. And the reason the probability is so high, just for everybody, people that might be new, the trade that Brendan has on means that USO could fall all the way down to here before he'd start maybe losing money on that trade at expiry, and then a bit more because of the premium he took in. So it's quite an ask, and that's why the probability of profit is so high. So Brendan profits if the share price does this, if it does this, and even if it falls, so long as it doesn't fall below 64. So in terms of a percentage drop from here, that would equal a 10% drop in oil prices from here in the next 2 weeks. So highly improbable, but it could happen. We're not saying it's not going to happen, but remember that strategy. If I'm right, Brendan, that was one that if you got the assignment, you wouldn't be too upset about it either.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. So I'd let it run. So yep. Anyone else for anything crude oil? Nope. Okay. Natural gas, guys, not a runner. You can see it's had a jump on us because of the contract switch over, but then it's gained. The cold weather come into the US, so it's gained. So there's nothing there on natural gas. And then flipping over to our metals, to gold, again, like all I want to do is sell puts on the GLD ETF, but the premiums aren't there, to be honest with you, for the strikes that I want to pick. Like if I just go to the gold ETF, it's a nice consolidation pattern here. We're liking this. I was looking at selling something down here like the 345 strike on this, and I think we were getting in less than 0.5%. So for me, there's no point in placing that trade. I'd just rather wait and see, does this consolidation period start? Does it continue? And will we get a test down here at all? So I'm going to hold off on gold. That's my own view on it. If you're an owner of gold, I wouldn't be selling it. I do think it's going to do this eventually. I think it's going to make an attempt at those recent highs again. But right now, I just don't fancy jumping into it, and I don't even fancy selling the put options. And the reason is I can get more premium selling the puts on SPY. So why take the risk on gold? That's the way I look at it. And just back on that, I just thought I'd mention interest rates. You might have noticed what's happened to interest rates in the US since. They're gone up like substantially here. So they've gone from like 3.92% up to 4.15%. So, you can look at that in a number of ways. You can say, okay, that might put a dampener in the stock market. It also suggests that people aren't buying bonds at the interest rate that they're at, that the yield needed to increase. So maybe the risk on trade is okay. You can read into this so many different ways, but the long and short of it is, the higher the interest rate, the less attractive stocks become, especially when you're trading at the valuations we're at. So that's the reason why I'd just stick with the short put strategy, and that why we might get some sort of a sell-off at some stage, you know. So any questions and all of that there? I'm just going to have a quick mention here of our short-term stock trades because we haven't placed anything new recently. So yesterday was a good day for them. We're down in pretty much all of them bar MGM at the moment. MGM was up. Even Domino's, which was up big time for us, that's come back a bit. So, you know, I would hold Alaska and Flutter were long-term buy and holds. Now, with Alaska, I'd be inclined to buy more here. Like if you're in the long-term buy and hold camp. So if your allocation isn't greater than 5% and you're in a long-term buy and hold with Alaska, then I think you could average in here. If you think about it, we'll come right back to a support area. Yes, earnings were a miss. And yes, they've had software issues, but we've seen this story before with Southwest Airlines. We've seen it with Alaska before, by the way. And look what happened. And I think you're going to see something similar when all is said and done over a period of time. So this might be an opportunity to actually buy in more stock and average into the price if you're a long-term investor. If you're short-term and you're just short-term trading this, I wouldn't average in. And Flutter got a downgrade during the week. So there was an analyst that came out and said there's uncertainty around all of these betting stocks that with tax across the globe. So, but again, I just hold on to Flutter. I don't see any reason for selling out of it, and it's a longer term play. I do think we'll have a go at these highs again at some stage, but it's going to take longer. This was, I would have expected it to move up before now, but of course we've the UK budget coming and everything else, so there's a lot of negativity around it at the moment. I think you've got to ride out the storm. I wouldn't average in here just yet, just in case the UK budget is a disaster and we come down lower. Okay. So that's probably one reason why I would hold off averaging back into Flutter. And as regards MGM and Domino's, again, just for short-term trading, I would hold them. I do. Our target prices still hold for these, and I think if and when this sell-off is complete and we do get a bit of a Santa Claus rally, I think you're going to see both of those rally pretty soon, you know. So I'd be happy enough to stay with them. As regards opening up new ones, because we've got 4 short-term stock trades open, I don't fancy opening new ones. And we're making more money selling the options at the minute on crude oil and SPY. So for me, it makes perfect sense to stick with that strategy just for now. But one stock I am looking at and thinking of adding to the long-term portfolio is Meta. So Meta is getting hammered and it's unloved at the moment because it's going through the story it went through before, where the investors ain't happy with the amount of money they're spending. And in this time, at this stage, it's on AI. So investors are really kind of giving it the thumbs down at the minute. But the target price for the stock, folks, is over $800, both on our models and on the analyst models. And from where it is now, that's almost a 33% upside. So if we go, I think it's up around 815. So it's 30% upside from where it is right now. Am I ready to jump in yet? No, I'm not. Because I just think, apologies, I just think that if the market does sell off, right, I will be afraid that you know, it's going to take Meta with it as well. So I just like to wait a little bit longer just to see this Meta consolidate where it is. But it is one that I have on my watch list, and I'm getting ready to pull the trigger on, because I do think that's going to be like a Google that we have. You know, we're nearly up 100% on Google. I do think that that's going to you're just going to start getting upgrades and upgrades and upgrades. You know, like Google emailed me, for example, the other day. The latest version of stuff that they're bringing out in AI is incredible. So they're already monetizing AI in a big way. So their service revenue is going up quickly. So no longer are investors just going to focus on Google as, you know, an advertising channel. They're looking at it from a service point of view now as well. And you know, I just think this is going to continue to grow. So even though it's above our target price, I think I just want to go back and show you where the analyst target price is now. It's at 320. I don't know if you remember when we bought that, the analyst target price, and that was only 3 or 4 months ago. was about $215. You know, and that's how quick now the analysts are increasing their target prices in this stock all the time. Our target price is just over the 300, and so I would kind of just leave it alone. I don't think that's one you actually sell, to be honest with you. So, guys,
Stephen, when you agree, it's a kind of poor reflection on the analysts. You know, like, I mean, I've been saying this for the last few years about them. If you're analysing a company in a market, you should be the guy who can predict the long-term moves, you know, with a level of accuracy that the rest of us don't have. Like, anyone can jump on the bandwagon when they see something climbing up on a positive statements from the company. You suddenly say, "Oh yeah, you know, target price is now increased or whatever."
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. That's there was a running joke for years there after the financial crash that analysts, their names should be shortened to the first four letters of the word analyst. And you're not wrong, you know. And this is just, look, this is not a conspiracy theory, but all these investment banks and where all these analysts are, right? They've got trading wings to their business, and they've got advisory wings, and they're not supposed to talk to each other. They're supposed to be the Chinese wall between the two. The reason being, the trading wing trade their own book, and obviously, if an analyst is going to upgrade a stock, right, they don't want to tell. They're not supposed to give the opportunity to the investment bank to make a few quid off the back of everybody else. That's illegal, but it happens. Do you know what I mean? You're telling me they don't have a coffee together. Do you know what I mean? There's a couple of issues in that. So you might have analysts holding back their target prices and to let their company load up in the stock. Things like that can be happening, you know. So there's a lot of conspiracy theories out there. I do know an example of a client of mine who was selling an Irish stock, and I won't name the company, but the company, we found out the company actually bought their stock, but seeing that the order flow was great and gave them the worst possible price they could give them. So they ended up paying them a few quids. But that's what can happen when a company makes a market in a stock and they have an advisory side, you know. So I agree with you, Brendan. I don't disagree. It is a sad reflection, especially the amount it's jumping. We've been talking about AI and Gemini and everything else for a year, and you would think the fact that they specialize in maybe one sector, so they might specialize in just, let's say, mega cap stocks in the Meta space and the Google space, they should know their stuff, really, you know. But there can be other factors at play, as I just mentioned. Yeah, so guys, that's what I kind of wanted to go through today, unless you have any other questions.
Stevens, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, if you were saying that Meta maybe isn't one to get into right now, there might be a pullback, like what kind of, like, if there's a strong buy on it and at the moment, what kind of range would you be happy enough to get back in at? Like, given that the next resistance is support is around 628, is it? I don't know. Like, what's your view?
Yeah, like I'm looking for low 600s, and then I'd pull the trigger.
Okay.
But I'll be honest with you, looking at it technically now, Richards, it's looking like RSI is below 30.
Yeah, I was looking at that.
Yeah, like, I mean, you could apply a dollar cost. If you're thinking long term, there's nothing wrong with buying it now, in my opinion, if you're thinking long term. So if this is something where you go, right, okay, I'm going to buy it today at 635, and you know what, if it falls to 600, you're not going to get in a panic about it, you know, then absolutely, I would probably apply a dollar cost averaging approach. So because you're using platforms like Interactive Brokers, what they're charging you $1 now to buy stock or whatever it is,
yeah,
you know, it's not a commission cost that's hurting you here. It's really, so you could buy a bit now and then say, well, look, if it falls, I'll just buy more. Happy days. And then you could apply, if the backside falls out of it, then, for example, if it does this and falls down, let's say whatever, they're picking up on something. So you've averaged in here. Let's imagine your average price is 630 and we're now down at 480. So you're down quite a bit, right? We could apply the repair strategy with the call options then, where we buy call options, sell twice as many cover calls, and get out of the stock if it rallied back up to 560 or something like that. So there's other strategies we can apply. So in answer to your question, I have no issue with people buying it now. It wouldn't bother me to buy it now. I'm just trying to bottom fish here. And I have been absolutely too slow on a lot of occasions this year, as you all know. So but it's just this series of lower lows that concerns me, Richard, you know. Now,
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
it didn't make one. So yesterday, so it's made since earnings, it's continued lower. Now we're getting this bit of consolidation. So I'd like to just see a bit of consolidation. You know, but the risk is then, is it going to be a V-shaped recovery? Will it just bounce straight back up again?
Yeah. Sure.
But
Thanks, Stephen.
yeah, I hope that answers your question. I know it was.
It does, yeah. Perfect. Thanks.
No problem, Richard.
Stephen, the question on TLT.
Yeah.
You see where it is now. What's your guidance on that?
Yeah, that's actually a great question, Jerry. Fair play to you, because you've actually reminded me. I forgot I was going to mention this. I'm kind of liking it. So if we switch into trade option chains and we go TLT, I'm thinking here that actually this might be one, if we can get some decent premium out of it, we could trade some options on. I wouldn't buy it here, Jerry. So what I'm thinking is, well, maybe if it fell down to 88, 87, you know, so look at it, you're getting 1% here. Even if you went down to 87, you're getting 73 cents here. You know what I mean? So, and then if you get a sign down at 87, I don't think it'd be the end of the world, you know?
Yeah.
So like, I think it is one that actually, now that you've mentioned it, it's one that I'm liking more and more now. You can see here, I just want to give you a bit of learning here while we're on. See, the delta here is minus 0.3. So that's telling you how people read into that. The probability of this strike being in the money is at about 30%, which means that it has a 70% chance of not getting down there. Okay. So our probability of profit will actually be over that. The reason being because obviously we're taking in premium, our break even is lower. So our probability, well, it's about 78%. So you can see there, we're nearly 80% probability of profit on that. And if we look at the chart of TLT, Jerry, let's go to where it was 87. It's back here, and your break even's down at 86. It's pretty much in the mid range of where it's been all the time. Plus, you're going to get paid this dividend. It pays you a dividend every single month, you know. So for me, I like it, yeah, but I'd probably do the put option route.
Okay, thanks, Steve.
And I would probably sell the $87 puts going into December. It's actually a trade I might do today, to be honest with you. If it can come down another bit further, we might get a 1% premium on that. But even $73 a contract isn't to be sneezed at, you know. It's not bad for that because it's not something that moves aggressively. Do you know what I mean? You're not going to get huge premium on that. But I mean, like that's something, for example, TLT is something I'd be happy to have 30 to 40% of the account in, you know. So you could do a lot of put options on it if you were assigned. Yeah, thanks for that, Jerry. That's a good one.
Sorry, if I may.
Yeah.
Sorry,
If I,
go ahead.
okay, thank you. Just on that TLT, I'm sorry, I'm actually on a phone here, so I can't see it. But you think it's a go today? Are you looking for anything in particular? You're aware of my own account, and you know I've got
selling puts, Stephen.
Yeah. Okay.
Just selling puts out to December on it. So when I put out the trade, I'll put out the trade if I decide to pull the trigger on it.
Okay, dokies.
I like selling the $87 puts on that out to December.
Okay, dokies. Okay, so you're talking mid-December. So we're talking, what day is that? 4 weeks from now?
It'll be the 19th, which is about 40 days away from now.
Gotcha. Okay, dogs. I'll be back shortly, and I'll switch this thing on and get tuned in. All right, thank you.
Yeah, so I'm just kind of waiting to see. Does it pull back a little bit further before I place that and see can I get more premium out of it? But even now, the premium, you're getting $79, which is just under, or $73, which is just under the 1% mark. It's not too bad, you know.
And then the dividend as well on top of that. That's what
Well,
I'm thinking.
yeah, when you're selling put options, the dividend is you don't get any.
It's not the case because I don't own it, of course. When we
Yeah,
say
but
so,
you are
yes,
assigned. What I'm saying is, if you got assigned, let's say a third of your account, that's something that's giving you a dividend of 4%. It's not going to be the end of the world, you know.
gotcha. All right, it's okay. I'll stick with the options for now. It seems to be what
Yeah.
I'm up to the moment. All right, thank you very, very much. Cheers.
No problem.
Bye-bye.
Brendan, did you have something?
Yeah, and I was just happened to stumble across Mace. Remember, we used to follow Macy a couple of years ago,
Oh yeah,
and it's actually doubled from its low in April. It was up 7% yesterday.
yeah,
Oh,
that's
gangbusters.
great, isn't it? It's one of those stocks there that just it's these stocks are notoriously hard to invest in. You know,
Yeah.
they really are trying to. It's so seasonal and everything, you know. So I haven't followed it in a long time, Brendan.
Yeah.
Just have a quick look at the financials there, and why is it jumping? But I don't like this straight away. That's hit me straight away. But anyway, earnings estimates are not too bad. $2, and it's trading at, what is it trading at? 20. Yeah, actually, it's not trading. What's the premiums it normally trades at? Normally trades at 11 times, so it's about $22. Yeah, I wouldn't be rushing out to buy this thing or anything like that now, but it's not overvalued, but it's not undervalued either. And I don't like, see, the operating margins are decreasing, so I don't like that either. Wouldn't be for me, but obviously somebody likes it for whatever reason. And this is just a very quick look at it, you know. Is that okay, Brendan?
Yeah, I just thought it was very unusual the way it has spiked.
Yeah. And it is unusual, well, because of the way retail has been in the US. Like, I mean, there's a two-tier economy going on in the US. People on lower incomes are in trouble, you know.
Yeah.
And the stock market and Bitcoin and all of that is actually keeping the middle and higher income earners feeling very, very wealthy. So that needs to stay up in order for the US economy to keep thriving, because if you looked at some of the earnings from some of the restaurant chains, they're not great, you know, and that's telling you people are minding their few quids in the US on the lower income bracket. Anything else there, guys?
Stephen, I just wouldn't mind just a quick comment from yourself on Coterra. Just right now, like, I'm back in profit on it. We probably all are. Like, we were down for ages, and it's just spiked. Not a huge profit, but I just your opinion on, like, I don't mind holding this for longer term, but
So this is
what are
spike
views?
for gas prices going up.
Yeah, sure.
So if you felt crude oil is going to go up with it, so Coterra's energy is revenue is roughly 50-50 between oil and gas. So if you feel crude oil is at a low and it's going to go higher from here, I wouldn't be selling out Coterra now, you know. So, like, if you look back at, let's go back to see, can we get any seasonal thing? Like, it spiked there in the end of November last year as well. It was up at 28, and then it spiked into January. And this is as natural gas prices were starting to rise. So if you feel that crude oil is at a low now, personally myself, the risk with crude oil is this: if there's a ceasefire between the Ukraine and Russia, which I hope there is, by the way, I'm just saying the risk to oil prices is the market starts pricing in Russian oil starting to come back onto the market again, you know. And I think that's the big overhang with crude oil prices at this moment in time. So for that reason, I wouldn't hang your hat on crude oil either. So I would say probably, even though our target price is 31, if it reaches 28, Richard, I'd get out. So I'd put in a limit order now, go till cancel at 28 to get out of the stock.
Yeah. I actually had, based on previous conversations, we had a limit sell at 31, but 28 is good upside too.
Yeah, I think with crude oil prices being so depressed, it's hard to see it at 31, you know.
Yeah.
And just
Sure.
note, it's going ex-dividends on the 13th. So hold on to it at least till then if you can, and you'll get the dividend, 22
Yeah,
cents.
yeah, it's a pretty good, decent, dividend. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Stephen. That's all for
Thanks.
me.
Good
Cheers.
question. Thank you.
Sure.
Stephen, could you just talk for a minute about what stocks are in equity scan? Are they kind of randomly selected, or they're selected by you? Like there's not a logic in what's in there and what's not in there. Is there?
But what's in the database?
Yeah.
Okay, so we added the S&P 500. So every single S&P 500 company is in there, and
Okay.
all of the large cap European companies and UK companies, So,
Right.
and then let's say we have a discussion today about a company somebody's brought up. I usually add it to the database and start putting in the research then. So if there's something in there that you want in there, sorry, that's not in there and you want it in there, just send me an email and it'll be in there within 24 hours.
Yeah. Great. Okay. Thanks.
No problem. Okay, guys, anything else there?
No. Thanks,
All
Stephen.
right. I'm going to leave it there for now, guys. Thanks for tuning in. And if you have any questions, just please reach out.